namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girimit kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatharinam Param Ananda Madhavam Śrī Caitanya Ishvaram Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Granthira Arambha Kori Mangala Charana Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinera Smarana Hoya Vigana Vinashana Anayasa Safal Nija Vanshita Purana Jaya Jaya Kripamoe Jagatiranath Sarva Jagatera Koro Shubha Drishtipat Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasandubhya Evacha Ditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining on this wonderful day of Dwadashi to read Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padai Yaramura Asha, Caitanya-caritāmṛta Kahe, Shri Krishnadasa. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has given us this wonderful nectar of Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta. So we were reading chapter 4 of Adi Lila, and we have read so far till 178, when we were talking about first the love and the lust, the comparison. One is like the sun and one is like the darkness. And then we were talking about how the gopis, who have nothing but pure unalloyed love, even a tiny spark of impurity is not there. It's pure, unalloyed, unadulterated. Nor there even like tinge of anything but pure love. So in that way, we read till 178 verse. So we'll move on for the next. Se pratigya bhanga hoila gopira bhajane tahate pramana Krishna Shri Mukha vachane. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. That promise has been broken by the worship of the gopis, as Lord Krishna himself admits. So what is the promise we're talking about? In the previous verse, Krishna said, Yatamam prapadyante tamstataiva bhajamiham. As you approach me, I'll reciprocate. So this is the promise Krishna gave. But what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is telling, that has been broken. And Krishna has admitted to that. So, let's see how this thing happened. Yes, Nandini Mataji, you want to read, please?
Prabhu Dandat Pranam, devotees. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Naparae aham nirvadya samyujama swasadhu krityama vidbhu dhayushapi vaha. No, this is Sanskrit, right? Okay. Ya ma bachana durjaya geha shrinkhala samricha tadvaha pratiyatu sadhuna. Can you please scroll down, Prabhu? Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. O gopis, I'm not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within a lifetime of Brahma. Your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties, which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. This verse from Srimad-Bhāgavatam 10.32.22 was spoken by Sri Krishna himself when he returned to the gopis upon hearing the songs of separation. Wow. We are so lucky to just read this. It's beyond, like, even life within a lifetime of Brahma. Krishna is saying he himself cannot repay the debt. So such a spotless service of gopis. And the main point here is cutting off all the domestic ties. It's so difficult. You try to say, okay, I want to give up all this lust, and so hard to overcome. Like smoke covers fire, like a womb covers the embryo. It's just so, we have so many ties and we get so entangled, like, World Wide Web. We are just so entangled, and so that's the beginning. And then we have example of gopis, and if we follow their path, one day maybe we'll be able to really relish this shloka and the meaning. Back to you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. As you said, yeah, it's very, very deep verse and so glorious. So Krishna is basically telling that although I have told that I will reciprocate accordingly the way you approach, but sorry, my dear gopis, I cannot repay the debt for your selfless, spotless seva. Can you pay after some time? Sometimes, let's say, we may take a loan for car or home or whatever. We may not be able to pay everything at that time. They'll say, okay, I'll pay in 2 years or 5 years or 20 years or whatever. Right? Can you repay back? Krishna is saying, sorry, that also I cannot do. I cannot even repay back in the lifetime of Brahma, which is trillions of years. Just to give an extent that Krishna basically can never repay back. Now, what can he give back? Is your glorious seva is your reward. So seva is the reward for seva for a pure devotee. So generally, in a neophyte stage, when someone does seva, the reward is perceived as recognition, or the reward is sometimes that I should be called out in the temple, I should be called out for my service, that I did so and so, I did whatever. It could be giving Lakshmi, it could be distributing books, it could be making bhoga, it could be anything, any seva. But generally, in the conditioned stage, one expects, in a very subtle way, one may expect some name, fame, recognition, and that is considered as the reward in some way. But what is Krishna saying in the pure state of the gopis? What is the reward? Your own glorious deeds be your compensation. So basically, their glorious deed means unalloyed seva. So the seva is the reward for seva. So basically, Krishna cannot repay back. I was just hearing His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj is giving a very nice series and I would like to kind of open that lecture here because I want to read that verse in this connection. Which canto is that? Which 8th canto? Amrish and Durvasa Muni.
Oh, we just read it. No, 8th or 9th. 9th. Because he's in Ram's dynasty. Śrī Caitanya.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna. Durvasa Muni's life spared, yes. Okay. It's a very important verse which I was hearing in the class. So Durvasa Muni goes to the Supreme Lord. Ham Bhakta Paradhina. That's the verse I'm looking for. Must be
Chapter 4, Prabhu. Chapter 4, yeah. Advanced view, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I think this one I was looking for. Yes, exactly. Okay, that's the one I was hearing. Will someone like to read? This was it's in direct connection with this, that they have worshipped me, cutting off all the domestic ties, which are very difficult to break. So when Amrish Maharaj was offended, Durvasa Muni, we know the Sudarshana was running because after the Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni goes to multiple places and finally goes to Vaikuntha. So we can read this verse. There's a conversation between Lord Vishnu and Durvasa.
I would really love to read it.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Ye daragar putrapta pranana vityamam param hitva mam sharanam yata katham tanstyaktu mutsaye. Since pure devotees give up their homes, wives, children, relatives, riches, and even their lives simply to serve me, without any desire for material improvement in this life or in the next, how can I give up such devotees at any time? The Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipping by the words Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha. Thus, he is the well-wisher of the Brahmanas. Durvasa Muni was certainly a very great Brahmana, but because he was a non-devotee, he could not sacrifice everything in devotional service. Great mystic yogis are actually self-interested. The proof is that when Durvasa Muni created a demon to kill Maharaja Amrisha, the king stayed fixed in his place, praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and depending solely and wholly on him. Whereas when Durvasa Muni was chased by the Sudarshan Chakra, by the supreme will of the Lord, he was so perturbed that he fled all over the world and tried to take shelter in every nook and corner of the universe. At last, in fear of his life, he approached Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was so interested in his own body that he wanted to kill the body of a Vaishnava. Therefore, he did not have any very good intelligence. And how can an unintelligent person be delivered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead? The Lord certainly tries to give all protection to his devotees who have given up everything for the sake of serving him. Another point in this verse is that attachment to Daragara Putrapta, home, wife, children, friendship, society, and love, is not the way to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who is attached to earth and home for material pleasure cannot become a pure devotee. Sometimes a pure devotee may have a habit or attraction for wife, children, and home, but at the same time want to serve the Supreme Lord to the best of his ability. For such a devotee, the Lord makes a special arrangement to take away the objects of his false attachment and thus free him from attachment to wife, home, children, friends, and so on. This is special mercy bestowed upon the devotee to bring him back home, back to Godhead. Thank you again, everybody, for letting me read this because it's really important for me. It's very meaningful to me at this point. Hare Krishna, back to you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. I just was hearing this class by Maharaj that so many verses, actually the Supreme Lord, all these verses are very, very important, which basically tell how much the Lord loves his devotee. That I've been sold out to my devotee. I cannot give their company. They have done so much for me. I don't think anything but them. They don't think anything but me. How can I let them be in danger? It only shows how much the Lord loves his devotees. Lord loves everyone, but he especially loves his devotees, and he really, really loves his pure devotees. As we approach, he will reciprocate accordingly, but that condition fails in the case of gopis, because gopis' love is more than the Lord's love for them. So the Lord is saying, it's like like, for example, a very mundane way to understand is two friends almost equal in their potential. One invites for dinner, the other invites for dinner, right? They kind of reciprocate, very nice relationship. But the other, let's say one serves in golden plate, one has maybe a lot of wealth, and the other person says, well, even in the lifetime, I cannot serve you in golden plate, sorry. But all I can do is, so it's very mundane way to understand this. But the point is that the Lord love faints down in front of the gopis' pure love. Therefore, Śrī Radha Pranaya Mahima. That was the first reason. And therefore, he wants to experience. But to attain to that pure stage is also no joke, because they gave up their everything, these are very, very difficult to give. As we are reading in this, it's not easy to, and attachment to home, griha, wife, children, home, wealth, property, car, mobile, name, fame, recognition, position, scholarship, education, different things for different people, but they're all very difficult to overcome. And guess what? Sometimes we may have desire that Krishna, yes, I really want you, but somehow I'm attracted to these things also. Then Krishna will make some arrangements to help us. If we are really wanting Krishna from heart, but due to Hriday Daurbalya, weakness of heart, we are still attached to, I'm still attached to so many other things. But inside I'm praying, Krishna, I really want you, but my heart is attracted to other things also. But really, if you see in my heart, I'm trying sincerely to ask for you. Then Krishna will recognize that my child is sincerely attempting, trying, and Krishna will make arrangements to help us out. Like Prabhupada's, often quoted this example. That Prabhupada, wife, tea or me. So for getting some tea, she sold the Gita or some Prabhupada was writing some scripture. She sold that up.
Gita,
Right?
Gita, his first handwritten copy. Prabhupada was just done with it. And he had put so much energy with his own hands. He had written the whole thing.
Wow. So difficult. Just think about, right? It must have been so difficult to write one page of article. If we have to write sometime, it's not easy. Writing the full Bhagavad Gita, and that is lost. So that was Krishna's special arrangement. In one way, it was a big loss, but only for the better gain for the whole world. If that would have not happened, no Prabhupada. Of course, it might have been a pure devotee, but a lot of instances happened, struggles, challenges, life-threatening situations, travel in Jaladuta, so many other examples, but only to bring out the best for the whole world. So that's Krishna's special mercy. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So, okay, text 181. Yes, Vipul Prabhu, want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Śrīla Prabhupada, text 181. তবে যে দেখিয়ে গোপীর নিজ দেহে প্রীত সে হতো কৃষ্ণের লাগি জানিও নিশ্চিত. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, this is Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Now, whatever affection we see the gopis show for their own bodies, know it for certain to be only for the sake of Lord Krishna. Purport: the selfless love of Godhead exhibited by the gopis cannot have any parallel. We should not therefore misunderstand the carefulness of the gopis in their personal decoration. The gopis dressed themselves as beautifully as possible just to make Krishna happy by seeing them. They had no ulterior desires. They dedicated their bodies and everything they possessed to the service of Sri Krishna, taking it for granted that their bodies were meant for his enjoyment. They dressed themselves with the understanding that Krishna would be happy by seeing and touching them. So the gopis, as you know, the embodiment of pure love to the Lord. So, and they dedicated their family, their society, their relationship, everything, as well as their own self for the Krishna. So they totally surrendered to Krishna, and that's why they dressed themselves most beautiful way to represent to Krishna. So Lord Krishna will be happy. So that is their only purpose. Better Guruji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Guruji. So, very nice point is mentioned here that the mood of dressing is in not to that people should comment, oh, where did you get this sari from? Where did you get this kurta from? Oh, you look so beautiful. If that's the mood, then the purity is lost, and desire, that subtle desire to get name, fame, recognition will further deepen. But the mood is that I should put nice Vaishnava clothes, especially when we're going to temple or programs, nice Vaishnava tilak, because it will please Krishna and it will purify my body and it will please the Supreme Lord. The Lord will be happy to see me in this etiquette or is attire of Vaishnava etiquette. Vaishnava attire. So dress has a very important part in our Vaishnava etiquette, right? And actually, I would like to read that section, or maybe I think we should read that section. For text number 6. text number, page number 6. This is from the Vaishnava etiquette manual, which is the kind of guidelines for the devotees, what should follow, especially in the temples or temple programs or spiritual programs. This is highly recommended. So let's see if someone would like to read this section. Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, Dandat Pranam, our first Srila Prabhupada. Dress and appearance. A devotee's clothing must be simple, clean, and distinctive, so as to remind people of Krishna. When coming to the temple, particularly for the morning program, festivals, and on Sundays, devotees should dress as follows. Men, dhoti and kurta, women, sari, head covered in the presence of men. Other clothing must be avoided except in compelling circumstances or when definitely required for preaching. 3. For both men and women, clothing should be simple and not fashionable and opulent. Yet, the clothes must be neat and presentable. Unnecessary items like perfumes and various forms of cosmetics and makeup should be avoided. Simplicity in dress is very important for a Vaishnava, whether in the temple or outside. Particularly for the morning programs and for all temple programs in general, fresh clothes must be worn. The previous day's clothes must not be worn. Lord Chaitanya said that a Vaishnava is one who, when seen, reminds one of Krishna. Hence, all devotees must be particular in regard to the following, which mark one out as Vaishnava.
What do you say, Prabhu, on this? Any thoughts on this few points?
Yes, but so as you mentioned, we must be, as clean as possible. We should nicely bathe, wear clean clothes, especially when going to the temple, satsangs, preaching programs. We should, what Prabhupada is telling us is, when we go outside, we should represent Krishna. So we should represent our Guru. We should represent ISKCON. So wearing tilak, dhoti, kurta, and for Mataji's saris, if possible, and that reminds of our Vaishnava etiquette. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice. Anything else someone heard which not yet covered about dress or attire? No excessive, no makeup, perfume, this, that. We're not going for a beauty contest, right? We're going, of course, it should be presentable. Cleanliness, very important. I'm just reading exactly from here that unnecessary items like perfumes, cosmetics, makeup should be avoided. Simplicity. Krishna is seeing not our makeup. So, but the dress should also be clean, because if it's untidy, shabby, or our appearance or our dress, then people will see, hey, ISKCON people are not, they're not nice people. They are unclean. They don't even dress properly. What to speak of their dress? First dress, then address. So one thing Amanda Prabhu was sharing, first dress properly, then address. Because if the dress is not properly, then and dress according to the occasion. Like sometimes, as mentioned here, even sannyasis, they wear normal clothes when they go to certain countries. dress in the Rome as Romans do. Sometimes they have to do that just to share Krishna consciousness. They have to wear like pant shirt or things like that, especially in like the Middle East countries, because the goal is how it will help to spread Krishna consciousness. We have seen so many times, even in US, but just because even non-Indian people, I'm not just, it's not something to be proud, but this is something to share the glory of our Vaishnava attire. And people genuinely appreciate. I've seen so many people appreciating, your dress looks very nice. The dhoti kurta I'm talking about, even the Western people. And then they become curious what's on the forehead. And that helps to give an opportunity to strike a conversation, right? The Indian people, what to say, they naturally, we have started conversations with so many people through the medium of dress, right? The Kanthi Mala, the Vaishnav Tilak, the Dhoti Kurta, they as mentioned here, they should remind, our dress should remind others about Krishna. So very, very important point. Our dress should remind us ourselves, and it will remind ourselves also. Hey, I'm wearing dhoti kurta. I should be very mindful of how I talk, how I behave, how I present myself. Because if I'm not just wearing the dress, will not make me a Vaishnava. So I should be more mindful, right? And we certainly are, actually. We certainly are. So just have to. Any other more comments on the dress piece? Vaishnava attire here. So back to gopis, they would dress themselves very nicely. What was the reason? Were they going for some beauty contest? No. Their only goal was because it will give pleasure to the Lord. It will give pleasure to the Lord. So that should be our consciousness. It will give pleasure to the Lord. It will give pleasure to the devotees. It will give a chance for me to share Krishna consciousness. So, okay, let's see what happens further. 182. Akshay, want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Eiteha Kailun Ami Krishna Samarpana Tanra Dana Tanra Iha Sambhoga Sadhana. Translation: The gopis think, I have offered this body to Lord Krishna, he is its owner, and it brings him enjoyment. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Laksha Prabhu. Wow. So this body belongs to Guru and Krishna. As mentioned by the gopis here, this I have offered Manasa Deha Geha Jokichu Mo Arpita Tula Pada Nanda Kishore. This Deha, this Geha, my home, my body, Jokichu Mo, whatever I say, my property, my bank balance, my family, my children, Jokichu Mo, whatever I think it's mine, I put my stamp. Arpita Tava Padi Nanda Kishore. Oh Nanda Kishore, I am offering it at your. This is yours. BMW, body, mind, and words. We say that, right? Kayena Vacha Manasendriya. Kaya Vacha Manasa. Or Brahma also says, Hridvag Vapur Bhir. Hrid, Vak, and Vapu. Vapu again means body. So many verses talk about that our body is meant for Krishna. Our body is meant for Guru. Our body, Guru basically gives a second birth. Second birth, that means we are not the proprietor. the master, spiritual master. The master is the proprietor, the one who has given us real birth. So therefore, we should be very mindful of how am I utilizing my body. I'm saying that yes, it belongs to Krishna, but I use it for Krishna consciousness only 1% of the time. The 99% if I use for my own self and selfish propensities, then I need to really think about it. So the gopis purely offered their bodies to Lord Krishna because he's the owner, he's the master. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvalokam Maheshwaram. He is the supreme proprietor of all our bodies. And how does he help? Nachao simati. I am a puppet. You are the master. The way you want me to dance, I will dance, as Prabhupada said. And the Guru comes as the representative of that supreme Lord to help us channelize our body in the service of the Lord. We cannot develop a direct connection with the Lord. We can only do it through the medium of the spiritual master. So, in the initiation ceremony, what happens? The senior devotees put the Kantimala at the time of initiation. Kantimala basically is Tulsi. Tulsi is offered to the Krishna when we offer any bhoga, right? So when we offer any bhoga, we put Tulsi and then, offer the lordships. Basically, what Guru is doing, putting the Tulsi on the bhoga of our body. So it becomes, because this body is full of so many problems, so many lust, anger, greed. It is not perfect for sure, outside and inside. But when Tulsi is put, and when the pure devotee offers, then Krishna will accept it. So this is why Tulsi is also put. Basically, Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpana. Right? What's the next line, Prabhupada? Anyone remembers? Sei kale Krishna. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpana. Sei kale Krishna. At that time, basically, Krishna, frees him from all the things. At the time when Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpana. Atma samarpan. Atma means self. I, me, mine, whatever is yours. So you can meditate upon this, that gopis have done Atma Samarpan. So the devotee, that's basically initiation. Atma Samarpan. Not just a stamp of initiation.
Prabhu,
yeah.
Sai kale Krishna tare kare atma sama.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing that. Sai kale Krishna Atma Sama. Because Krishna considers him as good as himself, actually. That's the meaning, Atma Sama. In short, that Krishna accepts, because a pure devotee is offering the bhoga of the initiate at the lotus feet of Sri Guru, lotus feet of Krishna. So, in short, we should voluntarily use our body. Number one, by keeping it healthy, very important, by doing good sadhana, health, sadhana, and seva. A fine balance, a nice balance is required of all three. If health is not good, sadhana will suffer. If sadhana is not good, seva is like shallow. So that's a priority given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and all the acharyas, health, sadhana, and seva. A fine balance is there for all three. And then we can nicely engage our body, which is Sharira Vidya Jal. It's a network of ignorance, but the same thing. It is that the body is a network of ignorance, but it's also the medium to get the soul back to its real home. So therefore, yes, it is full of problems. It is just blood, mucus, all these. It's product of 5 elements, and the gross and the subtle. Yes, it is transient, it is temporary, yes, but at the same time, it is a medium for self-realization, right? Through the ears, we hear Krishna Katha, through the eyes, we read the books, etc. So many ways we use our body. So a nice balance of health, sadhana, and seva will help us to and always reminding this body is not my property. This body belongs to Krishna. So devotees sometimes, in the outside world, many people get this thought of depression, suicide, this and that. We should never come in the mind of a devotee. So recently, I was hearing a class. Someone asked, "What if someone commits suicide after thinking about Krishna? Then he will go back home, back to Godhead, because Krishna says, Antya kalecha mameva smaran." So someone asked a tricky question, right? Commits a suicide thinking about Krishna. So what's your thought on that? Anyone?
So the death should be controlled by Krishna, not by the person.
Very nice. Yeah, we should not. We're not God to decide. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
If we look at the scriptures, even Sanatan Goswami was thinking of this, and so maybe the thought is not so much. There is so much variety of, so much variation of how this thought can arise and how Krishna will channelize that energy and what will happen. So much variation.
Yeah, we made a very nice point. Sanatan Goswami was thinking that I will, get myself under the big chariot wheels of Lord Jagannath and align my body. But the Lord, who is Paramatma in everyone's heart, knows what's going on in everyone's heart. So
Even Murari Gupta, I believe, was one time thinking like that. You want to share that pastime? Anybody? And Lord said, went to his house, and because he was unable to worship Lord Krishna like he was worshipping Lord Ram. So he was not getting attached to Krishna's chanting of Krishna's names.
So thank you, Mataji. So in short, if one is really Krishna conscious, one should never get such thoughts. And even if one gets, one will not act on those thoughts. Because if one is Krishna conscious, then one will engage the body productively, right? It's like, we can think of Krishna by thinking to kill Krishna also. Like Kamsa, Shishupala, Dantavakra, that's also thinking about the Lord. But that's not the recommended way of thinking about the Lord. So we have to act what Shastras are recommending. Shastras are not recommending to try to go back home by these means. Shastras are recommending to use the body. Durlabha manusho deho. Yes, it's very, very rare. And we don't have to decide when will be our last day. That Krishna will decide. Until that day, what is in our control, as you were reading recently in the last Bhagavad Gita call also. I want to read actually from that point. The point was that in our circle of, if I just draw it here, and since I like drawing, especially with the kids. So it is a very nice point in chapter 8 of Bhagavad Gita. And the point there is, so imagine this as one circle and the smaller one as the other circle. So in chapter 8, towards the end, Krishna mentions that if one leaves the body in Uttarayana, this will happen. In the light phase, this will happen. Dark phase, this will happen. When we will leave the body, right? Date, time, place, right? Is that right? Is that a matter of concern? Probably. But can we control it? No, we cannot control it. So this is the circle of control or influence. And that is, what am I using my body, mind, words for?
Can
Or
we
basically,
using my body instead of my body? Thank you, Prabhu.
sorry. In short, devotional service. So can I choose that? Like right now, all of you chose to attend this, to engage your time in reading and hearing scripture. We could have made a choice to watch a movie. We could have made a choice to just hang out with materialistic people. We could have made a choice to go for shopping. We could have made a choice to do a million other things in the world. But you made a conscious choice, which was in your circle of control. But by doing so, what's happening? When whatever state a devotee leaves the body, one who's constantly engaging one's body, mind, and words in Krishna's service always, that person does not have to worry what year, what age, what situation, what place, I will, he will, she will leave the body. That Krishna says that you don't worry, I will take care of that. And towards the end of chapter 8, this is the main point. Prabhupada is mentioning again and again the purpose. So, if we do best in our situation, Krishna will take care of the rest. So, any thoughts in here? Or additions to this point? Okay, so we read till 182, right? We can read one last verse and then we'll round off for today. Yes. Ashwati, Mataji, Andrew?
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, everyone. Text 183. E deho darshan sparshe Krishna santoshan, e lagi kore deher marjana bhushan. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna finds joy in seeing and touching this body. It is for this reason that they cleanse and decorate their bodies. So here, gopis, they're cleaning their body and decorate their body only because of Krishna. So whatever the devotees should do is thinking of that Krishna is looking at them, and also that's why they have to maintain their body, as well as also they have to look nice, and also have to take care of their body, because if they do not take care of the body, they won't be able to like serve Krishna and his devotees. So that's also very important for the devotees to take care of their body. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Krishna finds joy. I really like this point. Krishna finds joy there. In short, devotees are pure devotees are seeing what will give joy to the Supreme Lord. That's the only intention, not what will give joy to me. Atmendra priti vanchitare bole kham, Krishna priti ichha dhare premana. Krishnera Prityecha, what will give happiness to my master, my beloved, my supreme Lord, my Guru, my Prabhupada? Especially this Gita marathon is going on. Prabhupada says, if you want to, Prabhupada said multiple times, you want to please me, you can show your love towards me by how you cooperate with each other. Prabhupada was very happy when devotees would distribute books. Prabhupada was very happy when devotees would do wonderful service. So especially in this Gita time, we can please Prabhupada for sure. It will give great joy to Prabhupada. There's absolutely no doubt, or one should have no doubt in there, that if we try our best by engaging our body, our mind, our intelligence, Krishna has given us all these abilities. All of you are so highly intelligent and dear devotees of God. And all of you are doing your best to be a part of the global mission of 2.2 million Bhagavad Gitas across the globe. That's such a noble initiative by our ISKCON leaders. So we must do our best, and Nandini Mataji can really elaborate on that more. I'm just no one to know anything about this, but we should try our best. Use our mind, our intelligence, our body, individually, collectively, to give joy to Krishna. And of course, it will give joy to Krishna because Krishna says, one who shares this message is very dear to me. So it will certainly, that means it's giving joy to Krishna also. So in short, the whole purpose of our body, our actions, our dress, our address, our everything is to give joy to Krishna. That's the pure gopis of the Lord. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Any thoughts, comments, or additions anyone has? Okay, then we will pause here and meditate upon these points which we discuss about the body, or the dress and the address, using it for Krishna. So we'll meditate upon these today and be back tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow have a seva, so maybe all of you can continue to read. And the service to take care, so but thank you. The class will be Sri Prabhu and Mataji can coordinate.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki jai, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Śrī Prabhupada ki jai. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyo vachaparitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you so much.